If you want to improve at Fortnite so fast it feels like cheating, you need to understand this. Getting better isn't about playing more, it's about doing the right things, because right now most players are putting in hours every single day and barely improving. Not because they're not trying hard enough, but because they're practicing the wrong way. And at the same time, there are a few specific methods that can skyrocket your improvement if you're doing them properly. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to improve as fast as possible based on what actually works, and by the end you'll have a clear system you can follow to start improving faster than almost everyone else. And I want to start with something that nobody in the Fortnite improvement space really talks about, because everyone's so focused on just grinding as much as possible. Step 1, take a break. Now before you click off, I know this probably isn't what you're expecting me to say, but hear me out, because this is actually one of the most important things you can do if you want to improve fast. When you grind Fortnite for hours every single day without any rest, you'll eventually hit what's called a skill cap, where no matter how many hours you put in, you just stop improving. By taking a proper break, you're letting your brain rest and almost take in everything you've learned, and it's been shown over and over again that players actually come back playing better after a short break, not worse. So a break isn't falling behind, it's actually part of the process. Now, the length of the break matters, and it depends on your current skill level. If you're a complete beginner to competitive, a 1 to 2 day break is enough. If you're good at the game and sitting between 0 and 5,000 PR, take 2 to 3 days. And if you're between 5 and 15,000 PR, take 2 to 4 days, and between 15 and 50,000 PR, 3 to 4 days. And anything over that, just choose the length of your break, making sure it's not over like 4 days. And the reason better players need a longer break is simple. The higher your skill level, the easier it is to return and still perform at a high level, because your muscle memory doesn't just disappear because you've been playing so much. And when you're on a break, don't touch Fortnite at all. But when you come back, it's time to grind the right way, and that starts with your warm-up. Before you jump into any real games, you need to warm up properly every single day. This is something a lot of players actually don't do, because they warm up like 5 times a week, but what you need to do is literally warm up every single day, because if you don't, it's probably one of the biggest reasons why you feel off or just not that good on some days compared to others. A good warm up isn't just free building and calling it done, it needs to actually prepare your mechanics, your crosshair placement, your fighting, and most importantly your aim, so when you get into real games you're completely warmed up. The way I like to do this is by starting in a free build map, specifically one that has speed options, and free building at slow speed first, something like 0.6 times or 0.8 times speed, as here you can focus on your crosshair placement, and after that bump it up to fast speed for a few minutes and just try doing as many edits as possible without messing up. You'll make mistakes at first, but over time you'll mess up less and less. Then come back to normal speed and free build normally for a few more minutes, and then do some aim practice. I recommend Kovacs, but if you don't want to do this, you can do some of the drills in Raiders Mechanics Training V5 map. If you're new, you can also do some piece control drills as well. Do this every single day before anything else, and it will make a bigger difference than you even realize. Now here's what most players get completely wrong, and it's the reason so many people grind for months without actually getting better. They're not grinding intentionally, they're just playing. There's a massive difference between putting in hours and putting in quality hours. When you mindlessly play game after game without any focus on what you're actually trying to improve, you end up just repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You're not building better habits. If anything, you're just getting better at building bad habits. And the longer you do this, the harder those bad habits are to break later on. And also, if you just don't fix them bad habits, you're never going to start placing better in tournaments or improving as fast as you want. Intentional grinding means every session you sit down with a specific focus. Maybe today you're working on your crosshair placement whilst building, maybe you're practicing taking right hand peeks consistently without exposing yourself, maybe you're doing piece control scenarios until you can do them without even thinking. Whatever it is, you need to know what you're working on before you start, not after. One of the best ways to do this is to track how you die each game, and every every time you die, ask yourself why. Was it your aim, a bad peek? Did you panic and make a dumb edit? Did you get third party because your awareness was off? Whatever it was, write it down or at least mentally categorize it at the bare minimum, but I really recommend writing it down and keeping track of it, and over time you'll see a pattern, a specific area that keeps costing you fights and that keeps costing you bad tournaments. And these are your biggest weaknesses, and that's exactly why you should spend at least 50% of your practice on improving your weaknesses. And this doesn't have to be mechanical, it can be something to do with tournaments like rotating, and that means you need to practice your rotates in scrims, which I'll also talk about later in the video. Now in a second I'm going to cover exactly how to play ranked properly, because the way most players are using it right now is completely backwards and it's actually slowing them down. But first I want to let you know about Ease Us VoiceWave, the new best voice changer for Fortnite and content creation. Whether you want to sound like or any of the other hundreds of presets you can get, Ease Us VoiceWave has the voice changer you need. There's also tons of sound effects you can get with just one click. So with all the custom presets, you'll be able to use Ease Us VoiceWave however you want, whether it's creating YouTube videos
or even troll your friends on Fortnite.
In fact, I've even enhanced my mic throughout the whole of this video using Ease Us VoiceWave. So if you want to try out Ease Us VoiceWave for yourself, then click the link in the description. It's completely free, and if you like it, I'd recommend trying out their pro plan to get access to hundreds of different effects. But now let's get back to the video. Ranks is one of the most valuable tools you have for improving, but almost nobody is using it correctly. Most players treat ranked like it actually matters. Some play too passive, trying to survive, avoiding fights when they're not confident, and others get tilted when they die, or they don't use ranked to focus on taking zero damage and working on your weaknesses in ranked. And because of all of that, they're getting barely any fighting reps in, or just learning almost nothing. But here's the thing, your rank does not matter. No good player actually cares about your rank. What matters is how you play within it and whether you're using it to actually get better. The only way you should be playing ranked is by W-keying everyone you see. Push every fight, apply pressure constantly. If someone's on your box, make them feel it. The goal is to get as many fighting reps in as humanly possible within a real game environment. The reason this works so well is because in ranked, there's a bunch of different people, meaning there's a bunch of different play styles and different skill levels, which is exactly how it is in most tournaments. Also, in ranks, it's real pressure. Now, while you're in these fights, there's a specific mindset that you need to have. Try to take zero unnecessary damage. And when I say that, I don't mean play passive, I mean make smart peaks. Don't make open 50-50 edits when you don't have a health advantage, and make sure you always start the fight with the advantage. And think about where your opponent is going to edit or what they're going to do before they even do it. Once you've got your mechanics and fighting in a decent place and you're comfortable in ranked, you need to add scrims into your routine. Scrims are the closest thing you'll get to a real competitive environment, and if you're serious about going pro or just placing better in tournaments, then I would really recommend playing scrims. The key thing with scrims is you have to be active. Don't just land, box up and wait for the end game. You need to be looking for damage constantly, making smart rotations, and most importantly, staying aware of people are. And also looking at every single zone pool, even if you're not the IGL, because the more zones you'll look at, the easier you'll find it to predict every zone in tournaments. And trust me, when you can predict zones in tournaments, it's going to be a lot easier to rotate, get refreshes, and place way better in tournaments. If you're in EU, Noble Opens is a solid scrim server when you're first starting out, but you do really want to work your way up to get into no zone rule scrims, because they're a lot more realistic and a lot better to practice in. If you're NA, Manu scrims is a good option, and if you're in a different region, I'd recommend looking on Discords or Google for the best scrim servers, because honestly, I'm not sure what they are. apart from EU and NA. And one more thing, if you die early in scrims, don't just sit there doing nothing. VOD review how you died, watch it back, figure out what went wrong, and use that time productively. Any extra time you have should be used with intention. Outside of ranked and scrims, you want to be doing creative fighting practice. And the most important part of this is who you're practicing against. Fighting players who are worse than you feels good, but it doesn't make you better. You need to be going against people who are at least at your skill level and ideally better than you. When you fight someone better, you're forced to think faster, adapt quicker, and most importantly, they'll just punish you for your mistakes, which a worse player can't do. And if you don't get punished for these mistakes in creative, you're going to make the same ones in tournaments where you will get punished. And if your mechanics are already really good, then I'd recommend doing speed realistics instead of build fights, as these are just slightly more realistic, but none of this matters if you don't go against good players. And you can find these good players on Twitter or Scrim Discords, or maybe even Discord communities like the Snapin community Discord. Now the truth is, none of this is going to get you extremely good results like crawling to FNCS finals or something like that if you're not consistent. So you have to stay consistent every single day, and you have to play intentionally. And if you want a smarter way to figure out your weaknesses, build full improvement plans to fix your weaknesses, and get personalized AI coaching based off your goals, tournaments, and weaknesses, then Snapin does 99% of this for you. So if you want to improve faster than everyone else, the link to Snapin is in the description. Now if you want to go pro in Fortnite, then the video on screen right now will be the most important video you'll ever watch. But before you go, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.